The old dock was always sinking into the channel, and yeah, it's nice.
I love it. It's my first time.
The new Aquatic Center dock is open. It replaces one of the most popular docks in False Creek, not to mention one of the oldest, which had been in service since the 1980s.
There would be days where if it was a zero tide or a really low, like a negative tide, the bottom of the boat would be scraping along the barnacles and mussels on the bottom of the ocean there.
The old dock was had outlived its useful service life. We won't have the concern that we had with the old dock where it could collapse under the weight of the people that were waiting for the ferry.
That's a nice improvement.
That's a nice improvement.
As for the old dock, not much left of it. It used to be right over here, right next to this one in the water. The only evidence that it ever existed is right here. You can see it. It's that blue walkway, which now only leads to the beach.
I'm actually going to go up on the ramp for the first time.
Looks nicer, and it's good for the tourists too to come in.
Meanwhile, Neil came down just to have a look at the new dock. He's newly retired and lives across the street with his wife. He also has limited vision. He came down to see if the dock is accessible, since he and his wife like to visit Granville Island often.
The previous dock was quite difficult to get down. This one's got a very gradual incline, much safer railings, so it's much easier to access.
He says he's reassured to see the new dock designed with people like him in mind.
We've got a beautiful city, and it's nice to have accessible places to get to.
Meanwhile, the city says the False Creek Ferry Network has evolved and locals are actually using it to get around.
You know, in the 80s, ferry service started on False Creek, and it was just kind of boats going back and forth. Over the years, it's really developed into an important part of our transportation network. We see over a million rides a year, and that's a lot of people moving back and forth, and it isn't all tourists.
The new dock has a service life of 50 years and cost $1.3 million. In Vancouver, David Zura, City News.